This year, I'm on a passive income mission. I'm attempting to build one new passive income stream a month, so 12 total in 2023. In January, I took on YouTube. February was all about alternative investing. March was online courses, and so far in April, I've been hard at work learning how to shoot and sell stock photography online for passive income. If you're interested in earning your freedom one passive income stream at a time, subscribe for weekly or bi-weekly inspiration. Today is a mid-month update, 20 days in, about my progress, my plan the rest of the month, and the 7 biggest lessons I've learned already. Most of them the hard way, because I went into this with no photography skills, experience, or background knowledge. This month started slow because I went on vacation to Mexico for a week, which was much needed after a very challenging March, making 2 online courses. However, I didn't totally lose a week of progress. I took my camera with me to Mexico and attempted to take lots of great shots. This turned out to be a really great idea actually for 2 reasons. Number 1, the resort and nearby golf course and beach were all stunning. It was all extremely photogenic and I got a ton of great shots, especially at sunrise when I got up early and went on walkabouts before most people were up. And number 2, I also took a ton of just candid family shots that I'm sure we're gonna cherish for a long time. I'm not gonna post the family shots, but there's nothing like photos from a nice camera. And by the way, when I say nice camera, I should point out that mine isn't super nice. And I hope this doesn't end up holding me back. I've actually used my Canon M50 for the last 4 years for my YouTube videos, and I rarely pull it off the tripod and take it outside, but I have done exactly that the last few weeks. Now, funny enough, as I've been learning about stock photography from YouTube videos and podcasts, I learned that some very successful photographers actually swear by iPhone photos for stock photography. One guy even put out a poll of the same photo with a nice camera versus an iPhone, and most people couldn't tell the difference. So I might experiment with taking iPhone photos for the final 10 days and submitting some of those as an experiment. Or just go back through my phone and find some of my old favorites of scenes and landscapes or whatever and see what happens. Anyways, I found a natural photo setting on my Canon M50, and I do think the photos come off a little bit more organic. Plus, you can do a lot more with raw photos when you're editing. Now that said, editing my Mexico photos has been a bit of a learning curve. When I imported the photos into iPhotos on my MacBook and used the auto enhance feature, the photos look great and improved, but I was actually, I think, compressing the photos somehow. The stock sites I've been uploading to require the photos to be 4 megabytes or more, and Auto Enhance was making them like 2 or 4 tops. So I had to pivot and hunt for a different photo editing program. I found a dozen or so that were free, but I couldn't decide which one to try. Hint, too much research leads to info overload and analysis paralysis. Anyway, I landed on Adobe's Lightroom, mainly because I intended to upload to Adobe and it had a nice integration to import from Lightroom. I really enjoyed Lightroom and it wasn't compressing the photos upon editing, but keep in mind it does cost $10 a month after the free week trial. So that's just a little bit of context and background, but let me take a step back and share the plan. The goal this month is to take 1,000 quality photos. That's how many I plan to edit and submit for approval to 2 stock sites. Ideally, I get at least half approved and uploaded to be sold. 1,000 though is roughly 33 quality photos a day. That's definitely a lot as a big goal, but I am off to a good start. I came back from Mexico with 450 photos, and I think about 400 of them are quality. The bad news is the next 600 are going to be a lot more difficult and take a lot more creativity. It took me a full week to shoot another 100 quality photos when I got home, putting me halfway to my goal with around 10 days to go. So I needed a plan for the next 500 photos after my trip, so I made one. I came up with a fairly generic shot list, and by shot list, I mean location list. I don't have anything specific in mind. I just want to go to interesting places where I live in Tacoma, Washington, and nearby Seattle, and maybe go to an island or something for the day and just see what I find to shoot. Let me know if you have any ideas for what else I could shoot or what works well for stock photography if you have experience. In fact, give me any and all advice if you do have experience, because I am learning that I have a lot to learn, and this definitely isn't as easy as it seemed from afar. Speaking of, what have I learned about stock photography for passive income in 30 days? Here are 7 quick lessons. One, there are a lot of site options to choose from to upload your photos to for sale. I learned there are micro and macro stock sites. Macro sites are much tougher to get selected into. Some examples are Offset and Getty Images. I decided to upload to micro sites instead, which are easier to get selected into, but there's more competition and the pay is going to be less unless you take phenomenal photos and somehow break through all the noise. I'm uploading to Adobe and Shutterstock, by the way. 2, successful stock photographers say to apply the 80-20 rule to your stock income. That is 80% of your revenue actually comes from stock video, not even photos. Plus, 20% of your videos make up 80% of your photo and video revenue. Since I use my camera to shoot my YouTube videos, I thought I could just use my camera to shoot quality videos. I took 24 or so videos in Mexico, and upon review when I got home, they didn't look so hot. I'd be very surprised if these get accepted, but it's worth a shot, I guess. Number 3, lighting is critical. The sun can be your best friend, think natural light, or your enemy, shadows and oversaturation. Unfortunately, we're having our wettest, coldest April in history in the Seattle area, so that doesn't bode well for getting outside and getting great shots, but hey, people need gloomy shots too, right? Number 4, color editing is hard. I went down the filter rabbit hole in Lightroom and again experienced a lot of analysis paralysis and overthinking, which definitely slowed me down. A part of me wonders if I should upload without editing so that users can manipulate the raw photo however they want, but I just haven't figured out how to approach photo editing just yet. Number 5, speaking of hard, the upload process is extremely tedious. Once you take a good photo, edit it, and upload it, you still have a ton of work to do. You need to categorize each photo, you need to name each photo, and most importantly, you need to tag each photo with up to 50 or 60 tags. Tags are critical, so do not skip this step, but it is time consuming. Luckily, Adobe has an AI tool that'll add around 30 tags for you if you so choose, though they can be a little bit hit or miss. And you can select multiple images and add tags all at once, so definitely lean on any and all shortcuts if you can. I should actually say that you can select up to 100 with Adobe, so that's how many photos I've been attempting to edit and upload in chunked working sessions. Number 6, release forms are a big deal. If you have any recognizable people or even landmarks in your photos, you must have signed release forms and you must upload that with your image. Otherwise, you'll see this notice because the sites definitely require it. I don't want to deal with that, so nature and inanimate objects it is, and maybe animals. This is my dog. I hope he goes viral. And 7, finally, what I'll take away from this project for life in general is it's taught me to be intentional with my own photos. I didn't want to spend days upon days editing, so whenever I took a photo, I only took one. And I noticed that I've carried this over into taking photos on my phone day to day. I used to take a dozen so that I could find the perfect one later, and then I just never go back and find that perfect photo. Let me know if you can relate to that. So anyway, that's the plan, a quick update about how it's going and what I've learned so far. Again, it was a late start for vacation reasons, and there's still a lot I don't know, but I'm really excited to see just how everything turns out, and I'm having a lot of fun. And that's been a theme so far with all 4 months of passive income challenges. It's important you have fun and enjoy what you're doing if you're building passive income streams. That's because building passive income streams is very tough to do, and having fun helps you forget just how much work you're putting in. By the way, if you'd like to watch my full 90-day recap about the first 3 passive income challenges in 2023, I decided to post it on my first channel, The Money Resolution. I'll link it in the description down below or in the little card thing at the end of this video in a moment. Let me know if you have any tips or advice for me. I'm definitely all ears and eager to learn and improve this new photo hobby. I'd love to hear your success or even failure stories if you have any. My name is Frankie, the amateur photographer with big passive income dreams. Have an awesome week or weekend ahead, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks. That was stupid.